Hi everybody, TJ Mac Vintage Cards here, and today I'm doing another video where I show off the cards that I really enjoy in my collection. And this theme here today is just, cards that I have a lot of fun with, and they just show off different things that I look for when I pick my cards, and just the enjoyment that they bring me overall. And I'm just going to speak to that when I look at these different groupings of cards. So these first two here are Charlie Gehringer and Hank Greenberg. They're 41 play balls. And I showed them in two separate videos in the past. The Gehringer was in the tribute I did around the 4th of July to those players that were in the service. And then also in the Hank Greenberg, I did a profile where I just talked about my family legacy and just the gift they've given me of the love of baseball. It started with my grandfathers, both of them, but my grandfather on my dad's side liked Hank Greenberg growing up, as well as Babe Ruth and others, because that was the time that he grew up. So when I see this Greenberg card, it makes me think of that as well. And what I'm speaking to today, though, is I'm going to show a card I haven't shown on my channel before, and it's this Mel Ott card here. And just look at this wonderful image. And this is one of the things I go to. I'm all about the display and putting, I'm not big on, I put cards in obviously storage when they're not on display, but I have quite a large room with display cases. And I show off different themes. And here you have just this wonderful image of these three great batsmen here, full body shots. You have the shadows underneath. On this Mel Ott, just a beautiful use of shapes with the rectangle in the background. It's a very, card that just that Art Deco vibe here you get when you look at it. And again, just these use of shapes and these earth tone colors. You can see the stripes on his socks, striping on his sleeves there. Just a wonderful image of the great Giants slugger who hit over 500 home runs, I believe 511 home runs. And then you got Hank Greenberg, just another great slugger of his day with the Tigers. And here you just got this bright yellow background with the shadow underneath where he's swinging. Another beautiful full body shot. Very simple looking card there, but a beautiful card. And then here you have a little more going on here with this Charlie Gehringer with the bunting in the background. But similar to the Ott, you got the nice use of basic shapes there, and then the shadow that you see on all three of the cards. But when you put these three together, it just makes for a wonderful image. And there are not a lot of full body shots in baseball, as many as you would see in football, and especially hockey. Hockey utilized them a lot in the earlier days. But in the 30s and 40s and into the 50s, you would see them. The Bowman products would use the full body shot, especially 50, 51, and 52. You would see them quite a bit. And then Topps in 57 and 58, you would see them as well. And then they kind of went away. You'd see some three-quarter shots, but you wouldn't see as many of the full body shots. And when I say full body, you might get like down to the calf and not see the feet, but where you just pretty much see a profile shot of the player. And you didn't see as many of them later on until you got into the 70s when they used the action photography. But this is just a wonderful, beautiful image of three of the greats of that era. And really, a guy like Mel Ott, he played with DiMaggio and Cobb and Babe Ruth in that same era. And the same with Gehringer as well. And Greenberg played with Ruth and DiMaggio. So it's just nice to see these kinds of players represented in this format. Brings me a lot of enjoyment to look at them. And now I'm going to swing over to a couple of great football cards here. The one on the right here is Mick Tingelhoff, and on the left is Chuck Bednarik. I call this little these pair here crazy centers. Bednarik was a two-way player. He was a center and a linebacker, but they both played center. Tingelhoff played center from 62 to 78 with the Minnesota Vikings. He got in the Hall of Fame in 2015, so he's a more recent Hall of Famer. And he really was the premier center of his day with 6 Pro Bowls, 7 All-Pros. And what I really like about these cards, again, you have that nice full body image, but here you got Bednarik, this nice vibrant green grass and how it matches his uniform, and he's coming out of the darkness looking like he's going to attack you. So it's almost really like a scary looking photo here, and I really like the look of this. And then here with Tingelhoff, you got another image of him running at you. And here, I believe this is where the Vikings did their training camp each year. And in the 60s, from 1961 to 65, the franchise started their first season in 61. It was their training camps were at, I think it's pronounced Bemidji State University in northern Minnesota. And I believe I did some research on this and looked at some old photos at the time, and I believe that's where this photo was taken, was during training camp, because the buildings look very similar, even the types of trees, and it leads me to believe that it would have been at that college where they did those early training camps. And I just love the purple on this card. This is a 66 Philadelphia. And again, I did a video recently on the 67 Philadelphia and the use of the great photography that they had in those years. But this is just an awesome pair of two cards, and just really nice little works of art there. And these are what I consider portraits, because they really capture the essence of who these players are. So just two wonderful shots here. And now I'm going to swing over just to another fun image of this Mickey Cochrane. I showed this a while back just as a part of another video, but I wanted to show this one again and give it its just due. This is 34 Diamond Stars. And as I've shown before, if you flip it over, it's going to have the green writing on the back, and then the statistics from, you'll see here, right there, 322 and 1933. So it's a 34 Diamond Star card. And what I like here is just look at this field. I mean, talk about the use of the Art Deco. Again, you got a little bit of green grass here under his feet, but then you have this vibrant yellow and this like orangish red field. It just really draws you in. Just a beautiful image, and it even matches the striping on his jersey there, right around where the buttons are, and then right around where the Detroit logo is on his chest there. Again, beautiful use of color, just vibrant, really thoroughly enjoy looking at this card. And then next to that, you have appropriate for Halloween, Frankenkicker, Lou Groza. He looks like Frankenstein here with his foot in the air. He's got that helmet that looks like the tip of a rocket. It's like a bronze color. This is on the Cleveland Browns, Lou Groza, 53 Bowman. And he was a heck of a kicker. He was a straightaway kicker. This was well before the soccer-style kickers. And he could kick 50-yarders back in his days. Just an incredibly strong player, a great lineman, and kicker of his time. So just a nice image here with the green grass and the greenery in the background. Love looking at this card. And then next to this is another 53 Bowman. This is Pete Pihos. And he was an All-40s wide receiver with the Eagles. He made the NFL All-40s team. And just another outstanding player of his day. A two-time NFL champion, five-time All-Pro. And he was a receiver, I believe, up to about 1955 in the NFL. And what I like about this card is it's an interesting background. It looks like there's scratches in the back, but that comes with the card. It's not any damage to the card or anything like that. So I'm just wondering the backdrop of this card here. But what's really cool is this giant football, which I like in the 53 Bowman issue, and you can see how his hands look like it's catching this giant football. So just a fun card to look at, and just a little work of art here that I enjoy having in my collection and, again, looking at. And then next to here, you got another beautiful card. This card looks like he's playing in the woods, a pickup game with all these nice, looks like evergreen trees in the background on this 51 Bowman Steve Van Buren. And it's really cool too, is you got this Eagle logo here amongst the trees, and just the green pants and the green numbers, and just this expression on his face carrying the football. Another beautiful image, just a card that I really enjoy looking at. 51 Bowman's one of my favorite sets. So then moving down to another fun picture is this Steve Garvey 77 Topps. This card looks like it's a little bit too big of an image for that little space that they're giving it on the card. And part of that is when they put the All-Star on the card, it took away some of the space for the image. So where that blue All-Star block is, that would be room for an image on a normal 77 Topps card. So it distorts the image a little bit and squeezes it. But I really like the look of this Garvey because it makes him look kind of short, and it's just kind of a fun card to look at from that time. And here is the Pete Rose next to us. I showed this in a video recently, but you can see if they would have done it that way, he actually would have looked larger and longer there if they would have just changed the position on the picture and did a little more of a close-up. So it's kind of fun to look at these two right next to each other. Just two great players from that time in the National League. And then just this last row here, a couple more fun images. I've showed this one in the past, but one of the things I want to highlight here on the 79 Carlton Fisk is when you really look at cards, you can have a lot of fun with them. Here's these great Yankee jackets from the 1970s here. I always like these with the giant New York emblem. is going to be a little fuzzy, and that's not because of the camera. It's just the way the cards were back then, because they wanted to put the focus on the main image of the card. But if you look at the back, I talked to Picker Jim S about this when this came out. We were doing some comments back and forth, and I believe this is Bob Lemon, Yogi Berra, and Dick Hauser in the background of this particular picture. And that's kind of the fun of the cards, is just trying to figure out these little things that draw you in and make you just appreciate these little works of art that I like to call them. So just another great image here. You got the All-Star ribbon below that with Carlton Fisk and the Red Sox. And then, as I've said before, this is the first year that Topps put the logos on the cards, was 1979. So really like this Fisk card. And then next to this is a more recent pickup. This is a Mark Van Egan card. And this is his rookie card from the 77 Topps set. And what's just fun about this is it's another thing that I like to do, especially with football, is trace back which game this was from. So this particular game here, I believe, is from the November 7th, 1976 game between the Oakland Raiders and the Chicago Bears. The Raiders were 12-1 that year, 13-1 that year, and they beat the Bears that game 28-27. And it's the season that they went to the Super Bowl and beat the Vikings. And Van Egan in this game had, I believe, 62 yards rushing, and I know he had a fumble. But he actually had a really nice season this year. It was his first of 3 1,000-yard seasons in 1976. He finished with 1,012 yards. And you can see the turf of the Bears Stadium there. And just a wonderful image. I really love this card. And then what's cool about this is if you look at this card here with the Raiders, Ken Stabler, is it was taken from the same game, because you can see the Bears here as well. Nice crowd background shots. And I think it's really cool when you can do that. And a lot of the Raiders cards that year, I believe, were from this game, but these two particularly stick out. And just a wonderful little snapshot here of NFL history. When you think about it, the Raiders had a great team that year, and it's just kind of fun to look at that. But another thing about this card is Van Egan ran for 1,012 yards that year, as you can see. But yet he doesn't have the 1,000-yard on the card like Franco Harris does, that Topps did that year. And to be honest with you, I'm very glad he doesn't, because on most of the ones that I see, it's usually like a larger portrait shot, but a head and shoulder shot, more close-up shot. So the 1,000-yard doesn't really, it looks nice here, I think, and especially on this one because it matches the Steelers uniform. But on here, I think it would have been distracting because it would have been down in this area, and it would have took away from this beautiful photograph. So I'm very thankful that Topps left it out. I don't know if it was by design, but nonetheless, I'm very happy for it because it really makes for a beautiful, pleasing image. So that's what I got to show today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and you guys have a great weekend.